Most people believe that if they just work harder, save every penny, and follow the traditional path, money will eventually show up. But what if I told you that mindset is exactly what's keeping you broke? What if the secret to building real wealth isn't just about working longer hours or sacrificing everything you love, but learning the rules Jesus himself would teach if he were your business mentor today? If you've ever felt stuck, watching your bills stack up while your dreams shrink, this message is for you. Because the truth is, you were never designed to live in survival mode. You were created to multiply, to lead, and to prosper in a way that honors God and changes lives. The problem is, no one ever showed you how to connect faith and finances in a way that actually works. Today I'm going to break down 5 powerful rules and a couple of unexpected bonus principles that can help you start making money with purpose. These are not theories. These are time-tested, Bible-backed strategies that have transformed ordinary people into impactful entrepreneurs. And the best part? You don't need a huge bank account or an Ivy League degree to begin, just a willing heart and the courage to think differently. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly why wealth isn't reserved for a lucky few, and how you can start building it faster than you ever imagined. So stay with me, because the rules you're about to learn might challenge everything you've been taught about money. Rule number 1, build wealth by multiplying, not just saving. Many people think that wealth is a simple equation of earning and saving. But if you study Scripture, you'll see that God never called us to hide resources in a jar. Remember the parable of the talents in Matthew 25:14-30? The servant who buried the money was called wicked and lazy. That's a strong warning. You can be frugal, you can clip coupons, you can cut every little cost, but if you never learn to multiply what you have, you'll be stuck, surviving instead of thriving. Let's be honest, saving alone won't make you wealthy. If you put $500 aside each month, it may take decades to reach any life-changing sum. But when you focus on multiplying, you're acting like the stewards God trusts. Multiplying means you invest in assets, ideas, and business ventures that produce more income. Think about real estate, dividend-paying stocks, or a small side business. It's not about reckless risk, it's about faithful stewardship that expects a return. Here's something practical you can do this week. Create a simple multiplication plan. List every source of money you have, your salary, side gigs, any royalties, or passive income. Then brainstorm how each stream can be expanded. Can you offer a premium version of your service? Could you package your knowledge into an ebook? This mindset shift alone can unlock possibilities you've never considered. Proverbs 13:11 says, "Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow." Notice the word grow, not just keep. Saving is a discipline, but multiplication is an act of faith and wisdom. God honors the effort to create abundance from what He places in your hand. So don't feel guilty about wanting more. Feel responsible to use what you have wisely. When you think about multiplication, don't forget the power of compound returns. If you invest $1,000 and it grows at 10% annually, in 10 years you'll have almost $2,600 without adding another dollar. That's how wealth quietly builds while you sleep. Even small seeds can become harvests when you trust God's principles. And here's a thought that leads into the next rule. Sometimes, multiplying means narrowing your focus before you expand. Because if you try to chase every opportunity at once, you might end up multiplying your distractions instead of your money. Rule number 2, focus on one God-given assignment with relentless commitment. Most people never see their dreams prosper because they keep one foot in and one foot out. They dabble in a little bit of everything, hoping that something will take off. But if you study the lives of people God used in big ways, like Nehemiah rebuilding the wall or Paul planting churches, you'll notice a pattern. They were obsessed with one clear mission. They didn't scatter their focus across dozens of side quests. They poured all their energy into the assignment God gave them. You can apply the same principle to money and business. If you're trying to launch 3 ventures, build 5 income streams, and change careers all at once, you're dividing your strength. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is choose one thing and commit. Give it your full effort for a season, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it takes, and watch how focus accelerates results. It's not glamorous advice, but it's biblical wisdom. I'll tell you something personal. Most million-dollar businesses didn't start as a million-dollar idea. They started as a tiny seed that was nurtured consistently. Proverbs 21:5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty." Diligence is just another word for commitment over time. It's sticking with the process when it feels slow or boring. If you're wondering how to pick your assignment, Look for the intersection between what you're good at, what helps others, and what can make money. Maybe it's consulting in an area you know deeply, or starting a product line that solves a problem you've experienced yourself. Don't overcomplicate it. Clarity often comes after you start. Here's a practical challenge. Choose one income stream you believe in and set a 90-day goal. Block distractions. Say no to anything that doesn't support your mission. Tell your friends and family so they understand your priorities. It might feel uncomfortable to narrow your focus, but it's the fastest way to build momentum. And just remember, once you've committed to one assignment, you'll need the right skills to make it flourish. That's why the next rule is all about the power of learning what truly moves the needle. Rule number 3, acquire skills that serve people and solve problems. If you want to make money consistently, you need to understand one truth. Wealth flows to those who solve problems. In the Bible, Joseph was promoted because he solved Pharaoh's problem of famine. Daniel prospered because he interpreted dreams no one else could. Skills that meet needs and relieve burdens will always have value in any economy. That's why your income rarely outpaces your usefulness. Most people spend years getting good at tasks their job requires, but never invest time learning skills that are transferable or scalable. If your knowledge only applies to your current employer, you're building a house on sand. But if you develop expertise in sales, communication, marketing, or technology, you create leverage. You can serve more people and negotiate higher compensation because what you offer is rare. One way to start is by picking a single high-value skill to master each quarter. For example, you could dedicate the next 3 months to learning digital marketing. Buy a course, read books like Influence by Robert Cialdini, or study free guides online. Then practice relentlessly. Next quarter, you might focus on sales, an essential ability for any business. The skill of persuasion alone can transform your income. Proverbs 22:29 says, "Do you see a man skilled in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men." Excellence attracts opportunities and favor. So don't settle for average competence. Strive to become exceptional. When you do, money becomes a byproduct of your impact. Here's a practical example. If you're already working in business, ask yourself which skill could double your productivity or your value to clients. Maybe it's mastering data analysis, improving public speaking, or learning how to write compelling copy. Each of these can be monetized in multiple ways: consulting, teaching, or building your own products. And speaking of productivity, there's one more principle you can't ignore: systems. Because without order, even great skills can go to waste. So let's talk about that next. Here's a bonus rule. Honor your money with systems and order. Money thrives in order and suffocates in chaos. If you look closely at God's creation, you'll see a pattern. Everything has structure. The sun rises and sets in perfect rhythm. The seasons follow an appointed sequence. Likewise, your finances need systems that bring clarity, discipline, and peace. Proverbs 24:4 says, "By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures." Without structure, wealth slips through your fingers. Many people pray for more money but fail to create a container to hold it. They earn a little extra, but because there's no plan, it vanishes into random spending. That's why you need simple systems: budgeting, tracking, and automation. For example, you can set up separate accounts for business income, taxes, giving, and personal expenses. This separation alone can reduce stress and prevent costly mistakes. Consider using tools that make organization easier. Apps like QuickBooks or FreshBooks can help you monitor every transaction. If you prefer a simpler option, even a dedicated spreadsheet updated weekly will do wonders. The goal isn't to overcomplicate, it's to make sure every dollar has an assignment and nothing gets lost in the noise. Here's a practical step. Schedule a money day once a week. Review your expenses, reconcile your accounts, and check your progress toward your financial goals. This habit, done consistently, will give you confidence and insight. It will also prepare you to handle larger sums responsibly when they come. When your finances are organized, you can focus your energy on growing your business instead of constantly putting out fires. You'll have space to dream bigger and invest wisely. Money respects order because order reflects stewardship, and God blesses good stewards. And once you've built a solid system, you'll be ready to protect the most valuable resource of all: your mind. Let's talk about that next. Rule number 4. Protect your mind as fiercely as you protect your money. You can have the best business ideas and the most brilliant strategies, but if your mind is cluttered with fear, doubt, and negativity, you'll sabotage your own progress. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." In modern terms, your mindset is the soil where your financial harvest grows. If the soil is toxic, no seed can thrive. One of the biggest mistakes people make is consuming everything without discernment. They scroll social media, watch endless news cycles, and compare their journey to everyone else's highlight reel. It drains their confidence and clouds their judgment. Protecting your mind is not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing what you allow to influence you. A practical way to start is by creating a mental diet. For example, dedicate 30 minutes a day to content that builds your faith and financial literacy. Listen to podcasts about business strategy or read biographies of entrepreneurs who inspire you. When you fill your mind with hope and knowledge, you start to see new possibilities where you once saw obstacles. Remember, even Jesus withdrew from the crowds to pray and renew his spirit. Sometimes, the most productive thing you can do is step away from noise and get clarity. Take regular breaks to reflect on your vision. Pray over your goals and ask God for wisdom. These moments of stillness will strengthen you more than any hustle ever could. Here's something you can implement today. Create a no negativity zone around your workspace. Remove distractions that trigger envy, fear, or discouragement. Surround yourself with reminders of your purpose, scriptures on your desk, photos that represent your goals, affirmations that keep you anchored. And once your mind is guarded, you'll be ready to approach wealth building with a new perspective, trusting the process even when the results don't show up overnight. That's exactly what the next rule is all about. Rule number 5, trust the process more than the paycheck. Most people give up on their dreams because the payoff isn't instant. They plant seeds one week and expect a harvest the next. But wealth, like faith, requires patience and endurance. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." The process tests your character before it multiplies your money. One reason this principle matters is that setbacks are inevitable. Maybe you'll launch a product and no one buys it. Maybe an investment takes longer to grow. If you only measure success by immediate profit, you'll feel like a failure and quit too soon. But if you measure success by progress, by the skills you gain and the person you become, you'll stay in the race long enough to see results. Here's something that helps. Celebrate small wins. Did you learn a new marketing technique? That's progress. Did you publish your first video even if it only got 10 views? That's courage. Every step you take compounds over time. Eventually, the skills, connections, and confidence you build will create opportunities you couldn't imagine when you started. Think of King David. Before he was a king, he was a shepherd, and then a fugitive. Those years looked like wasted time, but they were training ground for his destiny. The same is true in business. What feels like delay is often preparation. God refines your vision and strengthens your trust when results are slow. A practical exercise. Write down one thing you'll commit to doing every day for the next 90 days. Maybe it's posting content, reaching out to clients, or studying investment strategies. Focus on the habit, not the outcome. Over time, the consistency will create momentum that feels unstoppable. And once you learn to trust the process, you'll discover the most counterintuitive key to wealth: giving. Because what you release with a generous heart doesn't disappear, it multiplies. Let's explore that powerful principle next. Here's a bonus rule. Give generously, because what you release multiplies. It sounds backward to say that giving makes you richer, but in God's economy, that's exactly how it works. Proverbs 11:24 says, "One person gives freely yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly but comes to poverty." When you hold on too tightly, you block the flow of blessing. But when you release with trust, you create space for new provision to arrive. Giving doesn't mean you have to empty your bank account. It means you prioritize generosity as part of your financial plan. You might tithe to your church, sponsor a mission, or support a cause that aligns with your values. The amount isn't as important as the spirit behind it. When you give, you declare that money is a servant, not your master. Here's something practical. Set a giving goal that stretches you a little. Maybe you commit to giving 5% of every sale from your business or donating a set amount each month. Watch how this habit transforms your mindset. You'll find that generosity fuels abundance rather than fear. When you cultivate a generous heart, you also build trust with people. Clients, partners, and communities respect those who give without expecting a return. Over time, this reputation becomes an invisible asset that opens doors money can't buy. In business, relationships built on trust and goodwill are often the most profitable. Remember how Jesus praised the widow who gave 2 small coins? He saw the value in her sacrifice because it came from faith. Likewise, when you give from a place of faith, you participate in something eternal. You're not just funding needs, you're aligning your finances with God's purposes. And here's the best part. When you combine multiplication, focus, skill building, order, mental strength, trust in the process, and generosity, you're no longer chasing money. You're building a life of purpose, provision, and peace. Now, you've seen that building wealth isn't about luck or chasing overnight success. It's about aligning your mindset, your actions, and your faith with principles that have stood the test of time. The question is, are you ready to apply them? Are you willing to focus on one assignment, master high-value skills, protect your mind, and give generously even when it feels uncomfortable? What would your life look like if you trusted the process more than your fears? If you stopped waiting for the perfect moment and started multiplying what God has already placed in your hands? You don't need to have it all figured out today. You just need to take one small step and then another. If this message has stirred something in you, don't let the inspiration fade. I challenge you to pick one rule we talked about and practice it this week. Maybe it's creating your first budget system, setting a giving goal, or blocking out distractions so you can finally build that business you've been dreaming about. One act of obedience can change everything. Write in the comments, "My faith and my money are working together now," and watch how this powerful declaration begins to shift the course of your business and your finances from this day forward. Remember, you were not created to scrape by. You were chosen to be a steward of abundance. God's plans for you are bigger than any obstacle you see right now. The only thing standing between you and the life you were meant to build is action. If this message has helped you, consider supporting this ministry through the link in the description. Your partnership helps us reach more people with biblical principles that transform finances and faith. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new teaching that could change your life.